used to have a jersey.
Did you?
Yeah. Then I used to have a laptop.
You spilled Jameson on it.
True. So yeah. So tree. Let's start this podcast.
All right.
Open it up. I like doing this up.
All right. So we're gonna talk about the Scott Storch story.
Yo, Scott Storch story is like so real. One of the realest ones in hip hop.
What's crazy? I didn't realize that like he wasn't always into the party life. Like that didn't happen until like long after he fucked with Dre and shit.
Yeah.
Once he really started getting his own production credits and like, you know, almost every hit song like for like what was it, like 04, 05 was like a Scott Storch joint.
Yeah.
That's the time when he really started getting fucked up.
I mean, Lean Back, Beyonce joints.
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera joints. Fucking.
Did he do Christina joints?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Fucking he did a bunch like fucking 50 Cent.
Yeah. He did Candy Shop.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You know the story behind the Candy Shop beat?
Didn't he offer it to Fat Joe and he wasn't fucking with it?
No, Fat Joe was there when he was making the beat.
Yeah.
And like Fat Joe was telling things and like he almost like Fat Joe told him what he wanted. Scott Storch made the Candy Shop beat, but like Fat Joe was like, I don't know if I really want it now.
Yeah.
And then 50 Cent wanted it, and this is before their beef. And Scott Storch called him like 50 times. He's like, yo, Scott just kept on calling me.
Come in.
Oh, it's locked.
What, so Scott Storch kept calling 50 or Fat Joe?
Fat Joe.
Say word. Guan. Holy shit, you got coffees out the ass.
I know.
Holy. So he was calling Fat Joe off the hook, like, what, I'm gonna give this beat.
He's like, you and me made this beat. He was telling him, like, you and me made this beat. Like, are you sure you don't want it? Joe's like, no, I'm good. Are you sure you don't want it? And then he's like, and then Fat Joe was like, I heard him, like, when Fat Joe was talking about it, he's like, and then it ended up being a fucking Candy Shop, like a fucking smash.
You know what's funny though? I heard the same thing about, 50's got lucky in his career. Because you know, In the Club?
Yeah.
In the Club was the same thing. Apparently that beat was made and Dre gave it to D12.
I heard that,
And D12's like, nah, we'll pass on that.
Yeah.
And then it became In the Club.
Wow.
And do you know what? Speaking of that, actually.
But hold on, like, we gotta talk more about Scott Storch.
Scott Storch, aye.
Yeah, Scott Storch, like, so, original member of the Roots.
Yeah.
That alone is huge.
And then he left the Roots and kept producing for them. And he produced their biggest hit, fucking, the Eric of the New Joint.
You Got Me.
Yeah, You Got Me.
And then I heard the story of when, like, he went to, he was still messing with them, still doing jams with them. He was trying to do like his own thing.
And he was doing the open mics and shit?
Yeah, and he was doing that, and like they were doing one in LA.
So he went and Eve introduced him to Dre.
Yeah, well he met Eve there. And then, And then she was like, oh, I just got to deal with Dre. Let me introduce you.
Well, he didn't meet Eve there. He already knew her back in Philly.
He already knew her, but like he met up with her there.
Yeah, because she was like, oh, you never charged me for beats or tried to get with me back in the day. Like, you know, like you just genuinely hooked me up. So here, let me take you to Dre. I just signed.
Yeah.
And do you know what's crazy? I never knew she signed with Dre.
I did.
What album does she have on Aftermath? She was always Rough Riders.
Yeah.
That
she has
glasses, shake ass.
Yeah, but that's still on Rough Riders though.
But like, she never came out with an album. The only thing that she came out with on that was she was on the Bulworth soundtrack.
Yeah.
For a song like Evil Destruction.
That song's fire.
That's before her first album. That was on that she was on Aftermath then.
Oh, so she signed to Aftermath, never did an album, and then signed to Rough Riders.
Yeah.
A lot of the times they'll do an album with a record label, and the album won't drop.
Yeah.
And they'll re-sign to a different like group or whatever, like Jay-Z with like Priority, and then he went to Def Jam, like release his original.
Well, no. What happened with that is they used. They did that under Rockefeller, but they signed to Priority as a distribution deal, and then they signed Rockefeller under Def Jam. That's why to this day, if you buy Reasonable Doubt, even if it's a reprint, it's not Def Jam.
It's Priority.
It's still Priority because they actually own the distribution rights to that.
Okay. So yeah, Scott Storch started out there, and then he met Dre. He did some songs with him, and actually like it was funny. Like I think it's pretty cool. because he said Dre is like program drums every day.
Yeah.
Different drums every day, and like Dre went to the kitchen and make a sandwich, and like it was still within like ear reach.
Yeah.
And Scott got on the keys and was like. And
the still drum.
And then like Dre like came running from the kitchen and was like, yo, that right there, that's our fucking hit.
Yeah.
And then like that's a. And then like, he went and did his own thing in Miami. He made some hits, and then he got into like the drugs. And he said he never even went to the studio. Yeah, after he started doing the drugs.
Yeah.
He never even went to the studio.
No, he said he went like with Dre a couple times, and that Dre was
Yeah.
just kind of like after a couple times like, "Fuck's up with you, man."
Yeah.
And then like just stopped working with him.
Yeah. But now now he's
And one thing I thought was cool too is how he said that Fat Joe and Busta were the two people that actually reached out to him when he was at his lowest points and try to like talk to him. Because I can see that in both those dudes.
Yeah.
Like, I heard Busta's kind of a dick, but I bet if he's like, he seems like the type of dude that if you're someone he fucks with, that like he'll always fuck with you.
Yeah.
And, like,
even when the Tribe shit came back together, like he was still fucking with them.
Yeah.
Because like he fucked with them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Have you ever seen the video of Busta when he's walking into his tour bus, refuses to sign a girl's autograph, and she gets mad pissed, and she's like, "What? You don't sign my autographs?" And then he just looks at her, he's like, "I gotta take a shit. I gotta explain to you that I gotta take a shit. You want me to stop an autograph? What if I shit my pants?" He's like, "You're an asshole." "I'm not an asshole. I just signed 500 autographs." He's like, "I had to take a shit." "You want me to shit my pants?"
Busta's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Busta's like, he's like one of those real dudes. Like,
yeah, but
see, people look at him. It's kind of like Jadakiss. When I met Jadakiss, like, I thought he was an asshole. But I think it's just the fact they're kind of just real street dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just like, you know, they're kind of just like.
But
you know,
if they actually fuck with you,
yeah, they fuck with you.
they fuck with you.
But they're like, yo, look at like when you're just like a fan or somebody. Like most artists should just like take the time to sign the fucking autograph. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I kind of respect them for that too, because it's like. Everybody's human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Everybody
yo, I gotta take a shit, Duke.
Even if he did it,
The
like,
fuck about my face.
when you're done,
Hey, yo,
you sign
you
an
don't know
autograph,
his
you're
day.
done.
Yeah.
You don't know what he was going through that day.
Exactly. You don't know what anyone's ever going through, so like.
"You want me to shit my pants?" And
Yeah.
he goes off, he's like, "I have to shit." And he's like,
And the amount of time it
That's
took
like
him to
something-
explain that though, he could have just signed the autograph.
"I know. That's why he didn't have the shit. I knew it." Like, it was just so funny. Like, it was principal at that point because she called him an asshole.
Principal, yeah.
Because he was ignoring her. And then she's like, "You're an asshole," or something. She was like English or whatever. "I'm an asshole? I gotta take a shit."
Yeah, like Scott Storch had like to a point where like he had so much money and he was so fucked up that like his cars, if he didn't like the color of them, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna paint a different color today."
Today,
Like
yeah.
when he was so fucked up on coke, I heard him like say that like he was like, "Man, I was so fucked up on coke, like I was just bored. I didn't know what to do with all my money, so I was like, I'll just change the color of my car to."
Yeah.
Scott Storch, like his most expensive weekend, I think. I watched a radio show with him. I forget who it was with, but he said his like most expensive weekend was like $3.5 million.
Man,
just in a weekend.
He said there was this one girl that like flew down to come see him or whatever.
Something crazy, like.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wasn't even feeling this girl this much. He's like, you know, like attractive wise, but like for some reason I wanted her. And I think it was on Breakfast Club when he was talking about the documentary.
Yeah.
And Angela Lee, he's like, "Oh, does she come from like one of those like what'd she call it? Like what do you call it? Not stock market, trust fund like families or something." And he's like, you almost would have thought she did, but she didn't really. He's like, but like the image that like, you know, that I had, I almost felt like it. So he's like, I had my whatever size yacht, and when she was coming, I'm like, oh, that ain't big enough. So I made sure and went out and bought a like 30-acre yacht or like something crazy like that was like double the size, like just for when she came. And he's like the amount of money this guy spent just to impress this girl who he wasn't even feeling that much.
But like, how can you even drop $3.5 million at a club or some shit? Like, how do you?
Yeah.
do
The
that?
cocaine probably had a huge thing
Just
to do
buy
with
the bar, like.
Buy the bar,
Coke for
probably
everybody.
fucking all the coke he bought.
By like he said like even the thing like so the amount of money that I spent, if I would have spent all that on drugs, I would be dead.
Yeah.
Like he said that in an interview. He's like, if I would have spent all that on drugs, he's like, it was the stupidest decisions that I made on drugs. He said, He was like, yo, like I would just, yeah, like I said, like change the color of the car, fucking buying the whole fucking club, like fucking, like he's like, you really, anybody spends that much money on drugs, they're dead.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just the dumb shit you do when you're on the drugs. Yeah. But yeah, like he's but he said, like when he started to quit, all he did was smoke weed. Yeah.
He said he smokes weed like a champ right now, like he's like a big weed guy.
Well, that's what he said. He's like, I built my empire on weed. He's like,
I built my empire on weed, and like I destroyed it on coke.
Yeah.
And he's like, so now he's just in like I think he did since then I think it was a game record that I heard. That was him. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was Jeremiah.
I heard he's got
But I heard he's got a lot of joints.
Yeah, he's got a few joints coming out. I can't think of who right now. I think it's like Fat Joe, Jeremiah, and
there was one like that, yeah.
And someone else is on, like Ty Dolla $ign or something.
Ty Dolla, yeah, it was Ty Dolla.
Yeah. Yeah, and he said he got some shit in the works. It sounds pretty dope. So.
Well, like, yeah, if you don't know like Storch's resume, like, okay, so yeah, the Roots, You Got Me, Dr. Dre, Still Dre,
Well, he's like keyboarding, yeah.
But that keyboard is like
what makes it.
What makes that song.
But it's the same thing too, right? When you look at like a golden producer like Dre, like see, people say Dre is like not a creator, right? But if Dre never came in the room and was like, "That's the hit," Storch would have just started playing something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it took that year, and then still Dre's the one who programmed the beat after. And it's the same thing as like when you're digging through samples and you find a sample that's hot. The only difference is someone didn't play that for you and you'd be like, that's the thing right there, which is almost more creative. You found a hot thing on a record and sampled it. You know, and it's funny because people look at people like Dre and stuff sometimes and like, oh, he just takes credit for shit. But Scott Storch said straight up, he's like, no, it's not like that at all. He's like Dre like does the programming, he does the producing, like he picks out what he wants. He's like, you know, and if you think about it, it's the same thing as sampling. Except you're doing it with live musicians and it's original composition. It's the same thing as sampling. The only difference is when it's sampling, you're taking someone else's already created work that worked enough to be a record, to be released at one point in time to begin with.
Do you think it's like his lyrics though, and people just don't like take credit for what they give Dre?
The lyric thing could be another thing that goes with it, like because he doesn't write his own shit, so people are like, oh, Dre just like puts his name on shit.
But even like for Still Dre, even Snoop said like him, like a bunch of guys were in the studio trying to write Still Dre.
And then Hov did the hook.
And then Dre was like, no. And then he said it to Jay-Z. Jay-Z wrote it. So like Dre had the ear of like hearing all these other rhymes and saying, okay, that's not it.
Yeah.
And then
well, who wrote it? Well, 2001. It was written by like Rakim, Eminem, Royce.
Rakim, Eminem, Royce, Jay-Z.
I don't know if Nas was writing for that.
I don't think Nas was. I don't even know what Rakim wrote for it, to be honest.
I think Rakim was Aftermath after that.
I don't know. You know who?
There's the same period, but yeah, it might have been a little bit after. I don't know, but I don't know what Rakim penned for that album.
Because even like when
he wrote for Will Smith too, Rakim. And Jay and Nas.
No, do you know what?
Nas is like
Summertime's a rumor. Summertime's a rumor.
What do you mean?
Rakim got asked about that in an interview, and he's like, "Nah." He's like, "I didn't write Summertime."
No, Will Smith wrote his own shit at that point. But like when like Miami's written by fucking
Nas. Jiggy with it is Jay-Z.
Yeah, and then what's the fuck is?
Do you ever think about that too? When you were younger, did you ever think like, what does getting jiggy with it mean? And then like when I learned that as I'm older, it's like jigga. You know what I mean? It's like Jigga like almost like dropped you like a jewel in that ghostwriting.
Yeah.
Like, getting jiggy with it.
Wow. I didn't even think of that at all.
I didn't think of that at all.
Like it almost dropped you a jewel in there, and then Jiggy became its own thing. But like, I don't know if that was really a saying before that. Like,
get jiggy with it, maybe, but like it's such like a play off Jigga. Like he was just like, "This is a hit, motherfucker." I'm putting myself subliminally in there because I know he's not giving me no writing credits. Oh.
Yeah, and then I seen an interview with Scott Storch, and then that he was talking about how Eve introduced him to Dre, and then they asked, "Hey, did you ever do anything for Eve for like repay back?" And he was like, "Yeah, I did like
Let Me Blow Your Mind."
Let Me Blow Your Mind. And I'm like, that's probably her biggest hit.
And that's credited as Dre though.
Yeah.
But I think it's Dre and Scott Storch.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think that's.
Cope. Yeah. I think it's Cope, but he's like, yeah. So we did.
Which is crazy too, because that's a guitar lick. So like he played that on a keyboard.
Yeah. he said that. He's like, I can emulate any like instrument on the
Keyboard.
keys.